Hey, it's Stacy with Anxiety Detox. This week I want to talk about men and anxiety. Before I do, I think it's important that I say this. No two people experience anxiety in exactly the same way. So even two very similar people will have different experiences. Anxiety has different sources like trauma, stress, or even what you eat or drink. Anxiety also has a lot of different expressions, like panic attacks or social anxiety. So the goal of this isn't to try to create a stereotype, because that's not beneficial or even possible. But the goal for this video is a couple of things. Number one, to just share a little bit of information on what we do know from the research about how men experience anxiety, and two, to just acknowledge that this is an important topic for men just like it is for women. I think men are often overlooked in this department, and to be honest, at the beginning of this, I was guilty of that as well. Not that I thought men didn't have anxiety or experience it, but in my experience with practice, most of the people who reached out to me were women. And so I anticipated that when I started Anxiety Detox, that's what would happen. Women would reach out to me and want help with anxiety. But what I found is actually early on, a good friend reached out and said, "Hey, why are you leaving the men out? Because we have anxiety too." And he was exactly right. And so since then, I've tried to be really mindful of making sure that the videos are useful to everybody. One thing we know about anxiety in men is that men are half as likely to be diagnosed with anxiety. Now, one of the things that researchers are trying to figure out is that an accurate number? Does that really mean that twice as many women are anxious or have anxiety as men? And really they're digging into it because they suspect that that's not the case, that more men than we know have anxiety. And one of the theories about why the numbers are, so different is that just socially men aren't supported and aren't told it's okay to reach out, it's okay to talk about how you're feeling, it's okay to admit that something is hard. We're supposed to shove it down and tough it out and just, power through it. And so that is one of the theories about why it is we see so many more women diagnosed with anxiety when we suspect that a lot more men are actually experiencing that as well. So the other thing that often shows up differently for men than women is that men often their anxiety expresses as irritability or agitation or aggression. It comes out as headaches or trouble sleeping or muscle aches and pains. If you're having headaches all the time, maybe it is not your allergies. Maybe it is anxiety that's causing that. The other thing that is really important to know, statistically speaking, is that men who are experiencing mental health disorders are more likely to consider and commit suicide. And this is scary, but also it is important to acknowledge and pay attention to this information. And again, it's for the theory behind it is that it's the same reason that men aren't encouraged to reach out or to share or to talk through things. And so when you're left as this island to solve problems on your own, but the anxiety becomes overwhelming, it can feel helpless. It can feel like you don't have hope. And once people start to feel that they don't have hope, that's really when you start to consider suicide as a real option. It is tremendously important that we as women, as a society, just as human beings, acknowledge that this isn't a woman problem, this is a person problem. And everybody truly experiences anxiety at some point in their life. Some people have it experienced more, that it's affecting really important parts of your life, like being able to work or go to school or be able to function in your home. So every week in Anxiety Detox, I notice that more and more men are signing up for the newsletter. And so I just wanted to say hello, I see you, I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope that this serves. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys next Thursday.